the team gets involved in some war games, Daniel goes through Groundhog's Day, and a bad case of amnesia. All tonight on Chevron Locked. Hello, and welcome, everybody, to episode 18 of Chevron Locked, a Stargate-based podcast. My name is BC. I'm just one of your hosts. Kevin is my other wonderful host. Kevin, how are you doing this evening?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I had a pretty good weekend. I had the Sunday off, but I did go into work long enough to realize I shouldn't have gone into work.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, well, I only have to work 4 hours when I go in on a day off, so I got to turn around and go home after a couple of hours. It was pretty perfect. Decent. I had a really good Friday, really good Saturday work-wise, so I'm in a good place now.
So before we started recording, me and you were talking about coworkers. I had kind of vented to Kevin about last week with dealing with some coworkers, but I did want to share a funny coworker story with you. Cool. That I thought you may like.
Yeah.
All right. Apparently Craig is in too. Sorry, Craig is a bot we use to help record ourselves. But anyway, so I'm working one night, and I get one of my servers. She comes out and she's like, "Aaron, you got to get in the kitchen right now." And I'm like, "Oh God, I got a couple cooks that are fighting or something like that, right?" So I go back in the kitchen, and one of my cooks is arguing with one of my servers. And this would have been a few years back when I think it was the History Channel did that fake documentary about mermaids.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Okay. This poor girl, and we'll call her Sandy. Sandy bought in to the whole fucking show, right? Like bought into it hook, line, and sinker, right?
That is so cute.
I know. So Sandy and my cook were arguing about the existence of mermaids, right? The server that came and got me knew that I would want to be part of this conversation. Sandy comes towards me with it, and she's like, "Well, how do you know?" And I'm like, "Well, I got 2,000 years of records that say that we've never found anything like that, And so we argue for a while. She throws the, well, just because we haven't found fossils doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of exactly what it means. We're going back and forth. This whole conversation is going on for 20 minutes, right? There's a long pause from Sandy, probably about 30 seconds. And then she hits me with, "Why would Disney make a movie about something that wasn't real?"
Oh, my God. My God.
I'm dead serious. I looked at her and I'm like, checkmate. Like, I can't fight that.
Yeah. How do you fight that?
There's no coming back from that, man. She hit me with all logic was out the window at that point.
Yep, you're right, Sandy. The Earth is flat. Dragons are real. I got nothing else.
I was just dumbfounded. I'm like, we're done here. We are absolutely done here. So, yeah. And I work with a lot of people like that.
Mm-hmm.
They make for interesting shifts sometimes. But anyway.
Yep. Yeah,
we are here to talk. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. One of my coworkers is someone that has repeatedly come up to me and tried to sell me things. And it's not like we wear a uniform, but I've known her for 15 years. So you'd think she would catch on at some point that she knows me.
Have you ever just gone with it? Just like, yeah, you know what? I want to look for, this is what I'm looking for, and just let her kind of do her little spill?
No, because I know it's not going to last, but she's just so unobservant that she just, like, she'll interrupt me when I'm talking to other people and just walk up and be like, "Hi, do you need help?"
Yeah. I don't know what's worse when sorry if you just heard a beer open there. It's a beer kind of night, man. I've got 2 days off, and I haven't had 2 days off in many moons, so
ooh, wow.
I'm going to enjoy tonight, yeah. I don't know what's worse is having a coworker come up and interrupt you, or when a customer comes up and interrupts you when you're with another customer.
Oh,
Like
Yep.
somehow
Yep.
they whatever they're dealing with it, that. And let's get this straight, people. I manage a sports bar. Like I'm not dealing with like life and death scenarios ever. You know, like whatever you need is equally as important as whatever this customer needs right now. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
God.
I mean, I sell furniture, and I get people that do that to me, that interrupt me like it's life and death.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And-
no matter what, it's going to be 8 weeks before it's in your house. So maybe sit down for half a second.
And you know what? Unless that couch over there is on fire right now, we're good.
Yeah.
We're
yeah.
fine.
Yep.
Ah, good God, man. Anyway, that's our fun little rant. So tonight, though, we're like I said, we're on episode 18 of the podcast. We are looking at season 3 still, and crap, fire. I had the listing right in front of me. There it is. We are looking at Rules of Engagement, Forever and a Day, and Past and Present. That's episodes 19, 10, and 11 of season 3, but 53, 54, 55 of the complete series so far. We're almost halfway through season 3, dude.
I know. That's great, and that's also terrifying. You know.
I know. It's crazy. Like, it's absolutely crazy. 3 incredibly great episodes, I thought,
Really,
tonight.
these were 3 terrible episodes.
Oh, my God. Really? Tell me you honestly feel that way versus...
I do. I really
Okay.
do.
Okay,
Oh,
that's fine.
this is going to be great. I love this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, as long as you're serious that you didn't like him, I am quite ready. Siri, I am not talking to you. Shut. Every time I say seriously, like my iPhone lights up, and I'm like, Siri, not today, ma'am. So yeah, that's awesome that you didn't enjoy those as much as I did. So that's something that we'll get into here in a moment. The other thing we kind of wanted to talk to our listeners about,
Yes.
something that Kevin and I found last week, and something that me and him talked about, something that me and him want to try. I'm going to let Kevin explain it because I think he's got a little bit more experience with this than I do. And yeah, why don't you tell them what we're talking about?
All right, so I've known it existed, but we looked a little deeper into the Stargate RPG, the pen and paper RPG, and I kind of want to try this out on the show. Like I want to get a group of people together through the internet and play, and come up with a scenario, have a couple of people that want to take on the role of a new SG team and explore and have an adventure and roll the dice to see how successful they are and see if we can't get someone to take the role of Daniel and die, because I kind of want to do that to someone.
7 times.
Oh, 7 times. I know. But I think it would be really interesting. And, we kind of want to put this out there to see if there's anybody that would be interested in doing this with us, trying it out. I've never been the DM of anything like this. I'm not, big into D&D or anything like that. But this is something that I feel like we could have fun with and make interesting enough that other people would want to hear it, because it's a story. It's about telling a story.
I agree. And to any potential listener, I as well have never. That's what I was telling Kevin. I have never played D&D before in my life. I understand it. I was telling Kevin I actually watched some YouTube videos this week, just trying to kind of familiarize myself with the play style of things. I'm a big gamer, but I've always been a console or computer gamer. So I definitely want to give this a shot. I think it would be a lot of fun. And I think that anybody that has never done anything like that before, I want you to feel more than welcome. I think what we're going to do is we're going to post something up in the Stargate subreddit on Reddit about you. Kevin's really good about posting up when the episodes go live, and then we'll do another separate post talking about the game, and then just have people post up there or email us directly and let us know if that's something you'd be interested in. We would love to get 3, 4, 5 people together to do this, and we would like to record it and make it a separate episode of Chevron Locked. Like keep the SG1 TV series as one thing, and then just record it and have a good time. And I think you're right, Kevin. I think that that's something that, if done correctly, if we can craft a good story, that I think that's entertaining to listen to.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions about it or any thoughts at all, don't hesitate to hit us up. Even if it's something you feel is stupid, I'd rather deal with someone that's excited but doesn't know what else to do than someone who just, we are dragging into this.
Yeah, and trust me, I'm excited and I have no idea what to do.
Fantastic. Target audience.
Yeah, pure target audience. And it's Stargate related, Maybe not SG-1 related, but Stargate related. So I kind of talked to Kevin earlier before we started about, so do we take on the roles of SG-1 or do we create a whole new team? And I think the way you described it is that it could be both. Like we could create a whole new SG team and fill in whatever parameters we wanted in terms of, if we wanted to make it all military or,
yeah,
more
and
go ahead.
That's the thing I've said about this show from the beginning is the one thing that I love the most about it is that it has so much you can do and so many things you can pull from. So we could do something where we use the dimension mirror to hop through, or we could, have one where we come across the Nox again, or fight, when we get there, the replicators, or I don't like, there's so many different things you can use and put together and kind of craft the story. I'm excited just thinking about it.
I am too. I think when we post up on the subreddit for Stargate, Kevin sent me a link to where you can actually download the playbooks. Am I correct?
Yeah, I found them somewhere. I'll see if I can find that again and post it up with it.
Yeah, just so people can kind of take a look at it and kind of get an idea of what we're doing. So, if there is anybody out there that would be interested in giving that a go with us, please let us know. I think it could be a good time. I really do. So, don't worry about if you have any experience. Like Kevin said, I'm going in blind and I'm good with that. Like I really am. So,
fantastic.
Yeah. So let's talk about some SG-1. I don't know what I was going to say there. That's weird. It kind of just escaped me. I'm like, I don't know. We do this every Monday, and yet it escapes me from time to time. And no, that's not the beer. I just cracked the first one. So I can't really blame that on that one yet.
The power of editing. I love how you can edit out all the others you opened.
I'm not even going to edit those out. No. Just a 45-minute podcast of just that type of fucking
seriously.
sound. So okay, so let's look at the first episode tonight, Rules of Engagement. You want to give us a little rundown on that?
Absolutely. So Carter managed to crash yet another remote control plane. A gang goes looking for it and finds a bunch of kids playing war in the woods. They wind up kidnapping one of them, bring him back home, give him a sandwich, show him a movie, and bring him back to his friends before bedtime.
Yep. That was the most precise synopsis I've ever heard.
Yeah, there's really no other way I can look at that episode.
Yeah. So this was the episode I had the least amount of notes for. I will say that. Only because I loved the episode. I love the idea that Apophis had this thought of starting to train Jaffa as human soldiers, right? That he had this whole infiltration scheme going on that he was like, we're going to dress you up as SGC members and we'll infiltrate, we'll start this war from the inside out type of thing. I love that idea. I really did. And I love the idea that when Apophis died, the Jaffa masters had all taken off and these kids were just out there still training, every day.
But in what fucking world is this going to work?
I don't know what planet that was. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't get the fucking address on that.
So we come across an SG team out in the wild, right? Okay, so let's
Correct.
just play this through.
Okay, all right.
So
let's walk it through.
We find a group of guys that wear our uniform who we've never met before. And granted, SGC is a big place, but I'm gonna know the people there. Let's say I don't. I bring them back to the base. The very first thing that's going to happen, they're going to go to the infirmary and they're going to be asked, who are you? And they're not going to be in the records. And now you're a prisoner. How is this infiltration supposed to work? They are never, ever going to infiltrate anything.
Okay, one, not with that attitude, they're not. Two, maybe it's not a straightforward infiltration. Like maybe, right? Maybe they bum rush, right? They bum rush a different SG team on a separate site, right? They set up a big fucking ploy to get an SG team out there. The gate opens up, all hell's breaking loose, and SG members are just flying through the gate. Why not just shoot through that gate with them?
I don't know.
Okay, here's my question then. Can you piggyback off of one of the Iris controllers? Like let's say me and Daniel are at the gate together, right? And Daniel goes through the gate. If I immediately go there after him, or if I go before the gate closes, will the Iris shut down?
Well, they manually open the Iris once they have the code, so it's not an automatic thing, so you're fine. If Daniel opens it, you can come through, but no matter what, there's going to be people on the other side that look at you and go, hey, you kind of look like us, but I've never met you, and you don't eat in the lunchroom with me. What's your name, son? Oh, you're not on the roster? Let's go to the brig.
Kyle, by the way. I believe that was his name.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that if they staged some, if Apophis, R.I.P., if Apophis had staged like some big fucking battle, right? And that particular SG team is having to retreat, and his soldiers flood through the gate, it's just going to be anarchy in the SGC, right? Like when everybody's shooting through, when everybody's flying through that fucking gate, maybe that was the opening he was going to angle for.
And I'm not going to argue tactics with a dead guy, but we've already seen this with Jolinar.
Possible dead guy?
And I wish they would stop hammering on the fact that he is dead. God damn it, he's not dead. We know he's not dead. Nobody should think he's dead.
Yes.
We'll get into that.
Yes.
But it would be much more effective to have those guys train and fight, but look like refugees rather than look like SG-1. We've already shown that SG-1 is much more likely to take refugees back, like they did when they were pulling Jolinar and his crew out, and then infiltrate them that way. Hey, we're here. Well, let's shoot this shit up and take over the base.
Okay, I agree with you there. I do that. It would be easier to go in. Well, and it depends on what information Apophis has. Like, does Apophis know that the SGC takes in refugees? And it will assume he does. Then yes, I would agree that it would be easier to sneak in a small group of infiltrators as refugees. But then you still have to deal with you still have to fight with the idea that you do then have to get access to weaponry of some sort, right? Unless you do some sort of Naquita bomb fucking little girl angle, but we've already as soon as Carter touches them, that's figured out. So you still have to figure out a way to get into an armory and then take control of SGC. Whereas if it's more of a blitzkrieg technique, like just everybody going through the fucking Iris when the Iris is open, like as long as you get in behind an SGC team, I think that when I watched it, that was kind of how I thought they were planning on doing that. Either that or was it ever talked about? Do the Goa'uld know of? They clearly know of the second gate, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We know that they used the second gate to bring the people from demons out a while ago, but then the second gate was lost to the ice and they couldn't come back through. So they know it exists, but they don't know we have it.
Okay, so they wouldn't have an address on that then at that point?
Well, the address is the same as Earth's address.
You're right. Yeah,
it's which one has priority because the other one isn't connected to the DHD, so Earth Gate has priority. When the
Cheyenne
other
Mountain
connected,
has
that. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha. But no, that was kind of what I thought was going to happen over anything, is that they would just follow an SGC team through and then in the chaos of everything attempt to make a move on it at that point. But
I don't know. I just think there's much better ways to do it.
Hey, you know what? Apophis, he's dead now, so all right.
He is. He's dead. We're never going to see him again.
We will never. Nope.
Never. Dead as a doornail.
Never. I mean, even in Rules of Engagement, we saw his death video twice.
Yep.
So yeah. So where were we? I can't even remember. So they get to the camp. They try to convince these kids that Apophis is dead. one of them gets shot, first blood is drawn, and the games are over. Like, it's go time, apparently.
I guess.
Yep. And
you would think the signal to go would be someone showing up and saying, "Hey, it's time to go," and not someone showing up and then you randomly getting shot by a different person.
yeah, dude, how would you like to be the one that signaled go? Like, you were the one that got fucking staff blasted on the battlefield for first blood.
Right?
But, so they take, Kyle's injured. They take him back to the SGC under the guise that he's going to go meet Apophis, and they drop the fucking A-bomb on him that Apophis is fucking quote-unquote dead. And, yeah. Which was weird that, I guess it's weird to me that I'm like, really, you just show him a video and the kid believes it?
Yeah, that's odd to me too.
Yeah. And I understand maybe that kid had never seen a video, so maybe it held some more weight to him. Like, he didn't understand the idea of special effects or something. I don't know.
He's also an idiot, so that helps.
What, man, wasn't he the captain? Like, he's not an idiot, sir. He made the rank of captain, for God's sakes.
No, he was given the rank of captain. He did not earn it. He did not make his way up the ranks.
Listen, when they
kidnapped him
at the beginning of that episode, when they walked into that tent, right? He was clearly working on something. He was clearly planning. He was in the planning phases of an attack of something. So
I guarantee it was a space Sudoku or something.
He was just drawing bunnies.
Seriously, he's drawing dicks on everything.
Wow. Is that what captains do?
That's what I do. So yeah,
he was a captain. So what else? What else about that episode? What else didn't you care for? And then I'll go the other angle.
I didn't like that they had this convenient cache of weapons on the planet that everybody was going to go for, and then it's in a cave. And then SG-1 has to guard the camp with the non-lethal weapons while everybody's shooting mortars at them. And you know what? This was just such a filler episode to me. It didn't do anything except provide a platform for them to say Apophis is dead. And one of my only notes for this episode is all capital letters, and it says Apophis isn't dead. That's it.
Yes.
I honestly, even rewatching this, because I forget everything, even not knowing that at some point we're getting him again, I know he's not dead because you've told me he's dead so many times, and I've seen a TV show once. So I know how TV works now. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight with you about that. I agree that as this is a filler episode, and I agree that they absolutely need to stop hammering the whole Apophis thing. Like, we get it, like we get it that the SGC thinks that Apophis is dead. All right, cool, whatever. I mean, I liked it because it just showed a different strategy that the Goa'uld were willing to take. Like, from everything else we saw, it was more of a just, okay, enslave these people, and these people are going to help us, and we'll invade a planet. And it showed just more of a thought out, devious plan, I guess, over what we had seen of the Goa'uld.
Yeah, and you know what? You didn't have to have Apophis in this. That's more evidence that he's coming back, because this could have been literally any of the other Goa'uld we've come across. If you make this Sokar, this is a devious plan, and look at what we have to look forward to from Sokar. It's outside the box thinking. It's, this one failed because of dumb fucking luck because we came to this planet by accident. But what else is he doing out there?
Yeah, I agree with you there. That was if you would have swapped out Sokar for Apophis on this episode, that I think it would have carried a little bit more weight to the possible threat there. But we've already been peppered with Sokar enough this season that I was okay with. I was okay with them going back to Apophis just because of how much Sokar we've gotten. And what's weird is that we've gotten so much Sokar and we haven't gotten any Sokar. You know what I'm saying?
We've had no Sokar. The closest we got to Sokar was his face coming through the gate.
Yeah, that was it. So I guess I'm okay with that. I was really impressed with the visuals on the Jaffa guns, like their Zat guns.
Yeah.
Is that what you called them? Zatkai? I was sitting here trying to think. They had a different name to them, didn't they?
They did. I was trying to remember. It was Intars. Ooh,
Intars. Yes.
Got it in one.
Nice,
yeah,
man.
Intars.
Yeah. No, I thought that was kind of cool, and I love the fact that they use those to retake the camp and whatnot. And who was the kid? So when they come into the camp, right? Like when they come through the gate, and Kyle's standing there, and he yells at the guy that was on the fucking the 50 cal, right? And the kid turns around. Do you know who that kid was by any chance? He looked really familiar to me.
I'm pretty sure that actor also played the bad guy in Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Oh, that first off, what a fucking fantastic movie.
Yeah, I think it's been on my Netflix recommended list for like 2 years now. I need to fucking sit and watch that.
Okay, press pause on this recording. We're gonna go watch that. We'll come back.
I'll be back in 2 hours.
Yeah, especially now because a lot of the stuff from that movie was in the previews for it. So if you haven't seen those in 3 years, you're fucking great.
Awesome.
But I'm pretty sure he was the bad guy in that. Other than that, I don't know him from anything.
Okay. He just looked vaguely familiar, and the poor guy was only in the episode for like 9 seconds. But yeah, I thought the special effects were really cool for the Intars.
Yeah, I thought that was neat. You know, it's a nice little thing to have, and I like how funny it was when Jack was like, "Oh, what's that short for?" and Teal'c was like, "Intar."
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You know, especially after we got where was it? We a couple of episodes ago when we had Flash in it.
Yeah.
They had that device that they had that they'd throw on the ground and it would shoot whichever way they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And that was talconnactogammagnutrons. And they just called them TACs for short. So now we get Intars and it's not short for anything. It's pretty fucking funny.
No, it really was. Very clever. And then we got that shit. Jack called it a vacuum. A vacuum?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the fact that Kyle kid corrected him. In the midst of all the firing that was going on, Jack's yelling for somebody to go get the vacuum, and the kid was like, it's a vacuum, you know? I was like, only Jack would be corrected in a firefight.
Yeah, but only Jack would be dumb enough to say something like that on purpose.
That's true. So, overall, though, I did enjoy it. For as far as the filler episodes go, man, I thought it was fun. I thought it did show a more tactical side of the Goa'uld, even though it was Apophis.
And, I know. I mean,
but again,
it was a neat idea, but I just feel like it could have been fleshed out.
You know, and the whole idea, and once again, we end the episode with a planet full of fucking people that, like, now what?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like, are you sending them home? Are they going to be absorbed into the SGC? Like, we don't fucking know. You know.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks. Glad we let you know your god was dead, and yeah, you guys have a good one.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah, that's all I pretty much had on that episode.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at Forever and a Day. Yeah, Forever and a Day. That's our
Forever
next
and a Day.
episode. Forever and a Day. Talk to us.
All right. So the gang is reenacting Custer's last stand. Daniel decides he's going to go solo. Runs in, confronts his wife, gets zapped in the head, where he lives out a freak show House of Mirrors acid trip like it's just another Wednesday. And then wakes up to see Teal'c shoot her in the back and then immediately forgives him.
Not immediately.
Immediately.
Okay.
Immediately forgives him.
Yes. Sorry.
Yep.
I was thinking
No,
one of the... Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. No, from Teal'c's point of view, that's what happened. Daniel's being attacked. Teal'c runs in and shoots him, and Daniel just immediately looks at him and goes, I forgive you, buddy, and then saunters away.
I don't know if he sauntered.
All right, galloped.
He may have galloped into the sunset. It was kind of Groundhog Day in the SGC.
Yep.
It was. Okay, that was a fantastic opening, though.
It was neat. It was a lot of action, which I'm always happy for. I felt like there were like 30 SG guys there, and I don't really... I mean, we always send 4 to more dangerous situations.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure why there were 30 of them. And we did get to see the machine gun Malp, which seems like the most useless thing in the world.
Well, only when you have some fucking red shirt wearing it or fucking using it.
Apparently, because Jack had no problem, and he destroyed an entire army.
Yeah. So I did like this episode, but so we get the opening scene, right? And Daniel immediately runs towards Sheree. Share. Potato, Sheree. Right? And the one Jaffa comes out of her little tent, right? And he's holding this 9mm, and he's holding it as far away from his face as he could get it, almost closing his eyes, and pops off like 9 rounds and just fucks that Jaffa up.
Oh, yeah.
And she is okay. I was like, what in the magic of all bullets just fucking happened?
Yeah. So I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and I like the like Mythbusters. So I've been watching the Battlefield Mythbusters for the new Battlefield game for the Xbox One there. And there's that little tiny gun that like you hold between 2 fingers.
Yep.
That is Daniel in this scene.
It is.
He had no control, no idea what he was doing. I don't understand how bullets take down the Jaffa, because when he pulled the trigger, they just made it. You could like feel it ping off the armor and just spark.
But that's my problem, or that's a problem I have with this entire show, is that you do, man. You it's a very specific like ting sound, right? And then you see the spark from the impact, and I'm like, he hit him 9 times, and 8 of those made a ricocheting sound off the metal.
Yeah.
Let's ignore the fact that he was just like fucking closing his eyes and free firing this gun and not hitting the woman that was 2 feet next to the Jaffa. Let's ignore all that and worry about how a 9mm gets through all that fucking armor.
I've heard more devastating pings from prospectors spitting tobacco into a little spittoon.
Ooh, well played. Well played, sir.
It took a little while, but I got there.
Yeah, no, that's actually a pretty decent fucking sound effect for that too, because that's exactly what it sounds like. But that's always been, not always, but that is one of the issues I have with this is I don't understand. It's different if they're using like a P90, you know, and they're at like a burst fire or even a full auto and they light into a Jaffa. Okay, I can grant you that. But this guy fired like 8 rounds. 7 of them bounced off. But when you watch that Jaffa, he did that typical like 80s like 80s commando Arnold Schwarzenegger type movie where his whole body fucking is shaken. You know, like all 8 bullets were like 50 pounds and, you know, his body just absorbs all of them.
Yeah, he gave it the Boromir.
He did give it the Boromir. You're damn right. God. R.I.P. Boromir.
God.
Yeah, but so that's always been a problem. So yeah, I love that opening though. Like if you would have, the only thing that would have made that better is if you would have put the Jaffa coming over the hill in skirts and painted their faces. That would have been a Braveheart-esque fucking run over that hill.
That's exactly what I have in my notes here. Was that they were originally I was going to say they were fighting Braveheart.
Yeah. That's all that was missing, man. Kilts and painted faces. I'm like, this is the greatest opening I've seen yet this season.
Yep. Yeah,
but
it was action-packed, to say the least.
Yep. What else about that opening? Oh, everyone. Yeah, that's what I said. Everyone but SG-1 gets fucking hit and destroyed, right? And then, you know, Jack gets on that fucking cannon and he's wrecking shit. But I will say this. Carter looked incredibly badass firing that rocket launcher.
Yeah, yes, I needed to bring that up.
Okay.
That was definitely the most useful she has been in this show.
Yeah.
You know, and I love her. Don't get me wrong. I do. But that was so awesome. It made me jealous.
Yep. I agree. And you know how I feel about Carter. But, man, she fucking owned that fucking rocket launcher, dude. Absolutely owned it. I'm sad that she only killed one Jaffa with it.
No, seemed a little bit like a waste. But you know what? If I was there, I'd have done the same thing.
Well, if she would have waited just 5 more seconds, that whole fleet of fucking Braveheart Jaffa would have been over that ridge, and she could have gotten way more. You know, her
maybe
body count would have gone way
coming.
up. She didn't. I'm not saying she did. I'm just saying, like, maybe, you know, Maybe she trips with it or something and falls. You know, that's all I'm saying. So yeah, it was definitely this kind of, I don't want to call it Groundhog Day but it felt that way. You know, he keeps waking up
doing the
from the
hand
same
thing
dream.
on his head, and he goes back and he's laying in the bed in the SGC, and then he wakes up and he hallucinates that she's there. It's like we just like 4 episodes ago we went through this same thing. They locked Daniel up for this same thing.
Yeah.
Daniel, fucking figure it out. You weren't crazy then. You are not crazy now. Deal with this somehow.
But according to the end of the episode, he was asleep through the whole fucking thing. Like,
And
what
that's
we,
fine.
for those 40 minutes, we saw him sleeping, basically. We saw him dreaming.
We saw him, yeah, in his mind he was going through this, but he's still making the decisions. Like, he's still freaking out a little bit that he's seeing his wife, and that's why he quit SG1, and that's why he did all this other weird shit. Deal with it. Like, try to deal with it in your own head, and then when you realize you're still asleep, wake the fuck up.
Wow. That was...
Sorry.
No.
I'm a little itchy today.
I would say so. Wow. Holy cow, man. That's I'm impressed. So we'll go back to some more of the episode. The one thing I wanted to talk to you about, so when he wakes up at the end of the episode, you know, like in real time, Teal'c had just fired the staff weapon.
Yeah.
And he just comes to and he says, you did the right thing. So is like, I guess I didn't understand. Is the kid's out there, right? So
yes.
In his head, is he now like, I have to go find this kid?
Yep.
That's where he's at, like, with everything right now.
That's his motivation now. His wife
Okay.
is dead, and he has to go find the kid, both because it's his wife's kid and because this is going to be the secret to destroying all of the Goa'uld, because that kid knows everything that Apophis, who is now dead and definitely dead and not coming back, and oh god, what's her name? I just had it.
Sure.
But the
Sharai?
Goa'uld that had taken over
Amunet?
Amunet. So this kid knows everything that they know. So that's valuable, and that's, you know, great. Let's go do that. Except every confirmation we have that that's an actual real thing only took place in Daniel's brain.
And what was the word? I meant to write it down. What was the word? What's the name given to when two Goa'uld have an offspring? Starts with an
Disgusting.
H. Well played, buddy. It definitely started with an H. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't have it in my notes.
Yeah, I don't either. Because why not? But my thing is that, so let's say, and again, I'm going to reiterate here, I haven't seen this show in probably 3 or 4 years, so I truly have forgotten most of these storylines. Some of it I still, like the replicators and stuff like that, I still fully remember. But some of it I have completely forgotten. So let's just say that Daniel and SG-1 come across this kid, right?
The Harcesis.
Harcesis, thank you. High five. Say he comes across it, right? Like, in my eyes, like, wouldn't you think that he would be almost like, I don't want to look at that child because that child represents Apophis having sex with my wife. You know?
Yeah, but it's all he has left of his wife. You know, it's a sad thing, but it's still some of the genetic material of his wife, if nothing else.
Yeah,
So I
but
get it.
it's
I
a
get
lot
the
of
motivation.
But it's a lot of Apophis' genetic material as well, though.
Sure, but rather than have another Apophis out there that knows everything Apophis knows and has some of the, you know, the drive and ability that Apophis has, I would rather raise that kid right and not have to fight him and kill him later. Especially where, like I said, it's you know, it's his wife's kid. It's something to remember her by. It's her legacy. It's his duty. I mean, he's a guy that's built for this. This is exactly the type of mountain he decides he's going to climb.
Okay, so let's say he does find the kid, right? Now, is there any potential to raising that kid properly, though? Because
No.
if he inherently knows all this fucking evil information, right? That is there even a way that you could successfully raise a child that's been pre-fucking deposed to these types of thoughts?
Maybe, because I mean, you can raise this kid with compassion. You can show him that there's other people in the world that don't have what he had and suffer and hurt from what he does. I think, you know, you got to try. You have to at least try, or at the very least, you have to kill the kid.
Fuck, dude.
Hey, you know what? Just to put everybody's fears to rest, no, I don't have any kids, and I don't plan on it, so we're good.
I mean, I fucking tell people all the time, no, I'm not having kids. I don't like kids, but I don't necessarily want to fucking murder them.
I don't necessarily. I'm just saying it's one
You're
of
just
the
saying
options.
for the greater good. You would
It's
have
on the
to
table.
put it down. Yeah.
You know, it's
like a red
not
dot.
outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah. So going back to the rest of the episode then, I'm sorry. Another thing I had written down, did Daniel get a new house?
Yeah, definitely did, because he had that apartment last time. You know what? What happened was when last time he died, his lease lapsed because he was dead.
Oh.
So he had to move.
I guess that's one way to get out of your lease. Like, I didn't even think about that.
Wow, Daniel's a genius.
Daniel is a genius, dude. That motherfucker probably has a sarcophagus just in like storage somewhere, and that's just how he's breaking leases and fucking car notes and shit all over the place.
Maybe.
Super
although
genius.
I do want to point out that in his dream, he was convinced that he could have taken Sharae to the Tok'ra, who would have a sarcophagus to make her better, and then be able to take the snake out of her gut. But then when he wakes up in the really real world, he doesn't try. He just kind of goes, all right, bye, and forgives Teal'c and saunters off.
What do you mean? Oh, see, we don't know. And that's the problem. So this is 2 episodes in a row that the episode ends well before it should have, in my opinion. Like, I'm one of those people that I want to see the cleanup. Like, I want to see what you did with all those kids off that other planet off the last episode. And you're right. Like what if he would have taken her body to the Tok'ra, or at least sent them a message saying, "Hey, this is my wife. You know, this is who I've been. This is why I joined this team. Can you please help us?" And then, you know, whatever. And, you know, maybe they do have a device to take the Goa'uld out of her. You know, we don't know.
Or if they don't, we have technology to put her in stasis. We've got a million different things we can do to at least keep her if we can get her back alive. We can figure out how to take the Goa'uld out at some point. Do anything. But nope, she's dead, and she's really, really dead. She's just like Apophis, dead forever.
So the running theme here is that nobody stays dead forever.
They're all dead.
They're all dead.
Dead.
Okay.
Dead.
I just wanted to make sure. No, man, I did, man. I liked the episode. I liked the episode because we finally got, quote unquote, some closure for Daniel. Yeah. You know, that particular storyline is now done. Even though, pardon me, even though I felt like within the 3 seasons that we've had, or 2.5 seasons of this show we've had so far, not a whole lot of episodes have been devoted to Daniel trying to find her.
No, but that's been fine with me. Like, it's been his motivation, but it hasn't been like them hammering the fact that Apophis is dead. Like, it hasn't been hung on the wall for you to see every time. It's something they can use to forward the story and kind of pepper in, and, oh, look, now she's back and she's pregnant. Oh, look, now she's this. And I'm kind of fine with that. Like, I didn't have a problem with any of this.
Oh, see, yeah. No, I didn't have a problem with that necessarily. I just felt like with the amount of motivation that he had, like joining this team and whatnot, that we would have gotten just maybe even 2 more episodes to do with her. Like, 2, I think we could both agree that between seasons 2 and the first few that we've had with 3, we could find 2 episodes that you could kind of turn into more, like take 2 fluffer episodes out and put her in there.
No doubt.
You know? But yeah, I'm not usually a huge fan of like quote unquote dream episodes or whatnot, but I thought that one was done very well. Anytime that we get Kasuf back, I am a big fan of his. I love that character.
I love Kasuf, and my favorite part of this episode was when they were in Daniel's dream, and that he goes back to the planet that Shire was killed on, and she's explaining to him that you got to go find the Harcesis, and then Kasuf comes out and like reinforces it, and I felt like that was the setup for a musical.
I did too. Yes.
Like I thought they were just going to start singing and dancing,
because
when you're a jet, like just go.
He just appears like from behind Daniel when he says it too, and it's not that he just appears. It's just like, and I was actually not that anybody's watching. That's the weird part is I was leaning to the left. It was almost like he was standing directly behind him, and he just leaned to the left, like, "Hey," that type of fucking response to it. No, fucking, I love that character, dude. I absolutely do. I miss Abydos. It just I love the interactions that Daniel and SG1 had there. So anytime he gets thrown in there, I'm on board, dude. I'm on board. So, that was pretty much all I had with that particular episode.
Yeah, that actually finishes out my notes for this week.
For the entire week, huh?
Yep, the entire week. All of my notes are done.
You don't even need to talk about fucking shit. Apparently I don't need to talk about past and present either. That's awesome.
I mean, I know we still have another episode left. I have literally one word in my notes.
How do you not have anything to say about past and present?
I got nothing for you.
All right, then let's just well, you know what? Here's what happens in past and present, folks, right? They go to a planet. The planet has the people of the planet, they have amnesia. They can't remember shit. They bring 3 people back to try to figure this shit out, and fucking they're running tests. And Leanna from Prisoners from season 2, was that season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the very start of season 2.
Linnea, yeah.
Linnea. It sounds like she had some shit to do with it, and they run some tests. She's there, and they're all back through the wormhole. So, what's your one word?
Linnea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you want to expand on that, or is that it?
Nope, that was it. I have Linnea with an exclamation point because, I mean, this is the sort of ending of that story.
It is.
It's not the same actress. We do get Linnea back. I didn't think we did, but we do get her back for this episode. And I didn't hate the episode. I didn't like it as much as I wanted to.
Okay.
But I just feel like Jack and the team have been doing this long enough that when they start getting a hinky feeling, explore it.
Yeah.
You're on this world and you've got this one person who seems to be smarter than everybody else there for some reason. And I got itchy. And it wasn't a big threat because she seemed like she had changed. And even, after they figured out that everybody there had their memory wiped by a thing that made them younger. And I'm still confused why there were no kids on this world. Oh, no, that's right. It screwed up so that they couldn't have kids.
Yeah, it screwed up the fertility.
Yeah, I don't know. Just the whole thing was a little off for me. But it's not a surprise to me that bringing these people back to the SGC didn't go well. I don't know. What was your favorite thing about the episode?
Okay, one, it never goes well when they bring it back to the SGC for the most part. That never, but yet that's something they're just going to have to, as viewers, we're going to have to fucking just acknowledge that, okay, they're coming back, shit's about to go bad,
Yep.
So what I loved about the episode is also the same thing I hated about the episode, and this is something me and you have talked about, I think, in 2 different podcast episodes, is that she got a raw fucking deal. Like, that character could have been used so fucking cool. You had potential for a lot of really cool story arcs dealing with Linnea, And that and spoiler alert, do we know, like, this is the end of it?
I'm pretty sure this is the end of her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if this is the end, like, that's not a good send-off. Like, you have this potential great villain that's not a Goa'uld, you have a potential villain that is not like what you are used to. So plot point wise, you've got a lot to work with here. And she was so underutilized, her first showing. And then I felt like her second showing, she was utilized a little bit better. but not much. I still think that that character was never given the send off or the episodes that she deserved. To be honest with you, I will agree with you there. After that, I thought that how they used her in this episode was actually pretty interesting. Like to bring in the amnesia, and to not only bring in the amnesia, but the fact that she also has this amnesia because of this, and that she's the one that's going to come up with the cure. They run the DNA. They figure out it's her. They tell her it's her, and then you kind of see, and again, I think we could have spent more time on, you see that struggle that Kira becoming, or Kira knowing that she is also Lyanna, or that she is Lyanna, however you want to look at it. I think that you could have spent a little bit more time with that struggle, but I thought it was very well done. I really did. The only other bad thing I had is that when they decide that she is Lyanna, right, and that they're going to put her down on lock and key, Daniel, Jack goes, "I'll go tell her," and Daniel's like, No, I'll go tell her, yeah, because he just made out with her and shit, so he has this connection because he made out with some chick from another planet. He goes down into her room, and as soon as he walks in that room, that whole scene is filmed like a goddamn soap opera. Like, yes. He's talking to her, he walks past her, still staring into the camera, he walks past her as he's talking, right? So she does this slow turn. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's the goddamn Young and Restless right now.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. And I thought it was weird how quick he stuck his dick in her after his wife died last week.
Yeah, wow. I mean, is that what happened? I thought it was a heavy makeout session, maybe some heavy petting, and that was it. I thought maybe he got to second and was on his way to third, but I didn't know he got a home run.
Yeah, no, I got some fan fiction I'm going to be posting on Reddit a little later this week. Look out for it.
Oh, nice. I don't know if you can classify that as fan fiction necessarily. I think that becomes something different.
Nice.
But yeah, if you had to send her off, like if you said, you know what, we're never going to see this character again, I was okay with that episode. I was okay with how that worked out. The only other thing is, and I can't remember the guy's name. The guy who that were introduced at the very beginning of the episode, who finds them.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll call him Tim. When they agreed that they were not going to let Kara be a volunteer for this because they didn't want her memories coming back. On the odd chance that she would immediately become Lyanna again and somehow immediately just start fucking up the world, like it would just happen like that. So they decided to let Tim be a fucking volunteer there. And that just came up out of nowhere. I'm like, really? Like, you're just okay with that? You're just going to stick this shit in this guy and you have no idea what it could possibly be? He
was fine with it. He was on board. He wanted that.
Yeah, I know he was fine with it, but I mean, I don't know. That part bothered me a little bit.
Yeah, no, that bothered me a lot.
I'm like, shouldn't we get a rat or a cat or a dog or something in here that you can try that on?
Yeah, but there's no memories in that. That's not going to have the same effect.
Hell if I know. I mean, they didn't even try. Maybe it would have.
Yeah, but
I'm just kidding. It wouldn't have.
With a name like Orner, I'd try anything too.
Well, you couldn't have just called him Tim, huh?
Nope, I don't like Tim.
Wow. What the fuck's wrong with Tim?
Nothing. I got a brother and a co-host named Tim. I just don't like Tim.
Fucking Tim Hortons? What?
There's none of those out here. Sorry, dude.
Oh, you guys don't have Tim Hortons?
Nope.
Oh, that's some badass coffee, dude. Please,
oh,
I'm sorry. So yeah, that's all I pretty much had for that episode. I really did. I really did think that me and you will always be in agreement that I think that character was underutilized at the end of the day.
Oh, definitely. There's so much potential there, and I'm just kind of sad we didn't get to explore any of it.
Mm-hmm. Very sad. Man, it would just be nice to get, and I guess they tried it with the replicators, down the road, but maybe they just weren't prepared to do something that wasn't a Goa'uld, threat. Because, we got it teased with the, what did we get it teased by? When Thor is talking to the team, he talks about how the Asgard have a bigger threat on their hands, outside of, or in their area of space. So we get teased with this idea that there's something bigger and worse than the Goa'uld, or that there's at least different threats than the Goa'uld. But it would have been nice, at least this early in the season, to see that, or to see that play out better, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I thought of it. And apparently you didn't like it, and that's okay.
Nah, it was all right. It wasn't the worst, but I am looking forward to next week. I think next week I'm going to have a ton of fun watching the episodes.
So next week is episodes 12, 13, and 14. Jolinar's Memories, The Devil You Know, and Foothold. I can't remember anything. I mean, I have a pretty good idea. That Jolinar shows up in Jolinar's Memories, but that's all I got.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I mean, shit, dude. I get excited to watch 3 episodes of Stargate. Like, period. Just in general.
Oh, yeah.
I'm good with it.
There's no bad. There's no downside.
No, there's not at all. So, next week we will take a look at those 3 episodes, and then, like I said, we're gonna post some stuff up in the Stargate Reddit about the SG-1 tabletop RPG pen and paper game, and we'd like to hear if there's anybody out there that would be interested in doing this with us. Maybe just taking an hour or so during the week and playing it out and seeing how it goes. Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. So thank you for everybody for tuning in. Kevin and I both appreciate it. We appreciate all the feedback, all the questions, all the support that we've gotten so far on the podcast. It's been fantastic. Keep an eye on Reddit. We'll post up when this episode goes live, and we'll also post up about the Stargate RPG tabletop game and see if there's anybody out there that would like to join us in that little adventure, if you will. So thanks again, and everybody have a great night. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Chevron Locked. As always, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Chevron Podcast, emailing us at thechevronlocked@gmail.com, or join us on our subreddit at Chevron Locked.